Hello and welcome to Mothership Gear with Hans Ives and your Stratocaster Pro Classic from 2007. Pro Closet Classic with Samarian Cobalt Noiseless pickups.
Say that fast. Say that fast 3 times.
So, did you get this in 2007? When did you first?
I did.
Okay, cool.
I bought it in 2007.
What drew you to this guitar?
Okay, well, I went to one of the local guitar places here in Riverside, and a high-end guitar place. Not that matters, but and I knew I wanted a Strat. Like, I went in there specifically because I think at the time I had my main guitar would have been a Telecaster, and what would have been, and I had a Kramer that I played a lot, which we should look at that someday. But and I knew I wanted a Strat. I had a Les Paul that I didn't play very often. It wasn't in a setting that I needed it that much for. But so I went in and I was specifically looking for a Strat, and they had, a room full of nothing but Strats. And I picked every single one of them up, plugged, it's like, nope. And then I got down to like 3 or 4 different ones. And I loved some of the Relic ones, and most of these were custom shop instruments. And I didn't know any of the details about this guitar, but I just knew that every time I picked up this guitar and plugged it in, I was like, that sounds amazing. And I did like I'd never had a Sunburst guitar in my life. And I thought, well, it sounds amazing, and I like the look of it. I finally just said, okay, I think I'm going to get that one. So ultimately, it was the overall sound of the guitar that drew me to this particular model of Strat, not knowing any of the details until the guy that I was buying it from said, oh, by the way, you're buying it, it does all these things. I'm like, oh, great.
Nice.
I just know it sounds good.
Yeah, what are some of the things about this guitar that make it sound good to you?
Well, okay, so the idea behind the Closet Strat, the Pro Closet Strat, I don't know which one comes first. I've always called it the Closet Strat Pro, but I think I have it backwards.
Pro Closet Classic.
Okay, there you go. The Pro Closet Classic. So the idea behind the guitar is that first of all, it looks like a 70s model. And the idea is that they, instead of relicing a guitar, which they did a lot of back in the mid 2000s, I guess they still do it, but that was when that was really becoming very popular, to relic guitars. The idea behind this guitar was that it was a 70s Strat that was bought by somebody original and then ended up in their closet and had been sitting in their closet for 30 years. So not played, so no wear, just age. And so there's a crackle, kind of like this tiny little crackle to the finish, which would happen over time of a guitar just sitting in somebody's closet. And so that's the look of it, and then it's got the 70s headstock. I think somebody have told me before it's like a 74. So that's the idea behind the look. But what makes it the Pro model is that it isn't an exact replica like we in one of our previous episodes we did my reissue of the Gibson Les Paul, the 57 gold top. That is a fairly slavish, this is the way the guitar was built back then, this is our custom shop building it now. This is all of the stuff from that would make that guitar look like a 74 Strat, and then everything else is modern. So modern tuning heads, a modern roller nut, a cutaway that's way deeper than a 70s Strat, so you can get up here and really go for it, hot rod pickups, and a very reliable and great bridge and tremolo. So all of those things together is what makes it the Pro model. And that actually, as a player, I've heard it said before, I'd rather have a reissue than, I've heard great people say, I'd rather have a reissue than the original, because a reissue is going to play great every time I pick it up. I kind of agree with that. As I said in the previous episode that you and I did, I'm not a guitar collector, I'm a guitar player. I want it to do stuff, and I want it to work reliably. So, but all of those features just make this just a great guitar. the very first time I ever had to take this in to get the nut, because I play a lot. And by the way, I'm embarrassed if you looked at it now because it needs a fret job again on these 3 frets. But the guy I took it to is a very reliable luthier. He said, "This is the best Strat I've ever seen come through my place ever."
Wow.
On which I was like, "Wow, you've seen a lot of Strats."
Did he point out any elements of it that stuck out to him?
I think it's just the overall thing. It's like the whole package is and one of the things specifically is like this guitar. I picked it up. I haven't played it in a couple of weeks. I picked it up, plugged it in. It's still in tune.
Wow.
I didn't tune it. I mean, just the reliability of this thing is, you just can't beat it.
That's incredible. Yeah, so let's look at some of the specs. So it says custom classic series, finish is 3-tone, body is select alder, neck maple modern C-shape.
Yeah.
Fingerboard round laminated maple 12-inch radius.
Hey, by the way, that modern thing is cool because it's one of the things I like that it's kind of a thin line neck, and I really dig that.
Okay. And then 22 medium jumbo frets. The pickups are the 3 Samarian Cobalt Noiseless Strat pickups. So tell me about the Samarian Cobalt Noiseless. What does that mean? What do they sound like? Maybe play a couple different positions so we could hear.
Well, first of all, doesn't that sound like that's something that came out of like some lab that has the radioactive?
Right.
It's like these pickups are radioactive, so don't get close to them. You have to wear a hazmat. Well, the first thing to notice,
yeah,
I'm not touching the guitar. It's a Stratocaster. That should be making enormous noise. Okay, no noise. Yes, sweet. But sometimes noiseless pickups have reduced output. That's the idea behind this particular model of pickup is that, yeah, it's noiseless, but it's raging. Very high output. There's that Strat bark. So that's like a mid-gain thing on the amp. Sorry about all the delay and stuff. Yeah, it's just in there. We're going to have to live with it. Okay, so now here's I should... So first position. That's the blend of these two, so now this is going to be out of phase. Keith Urban. Okay, so that's middle position. Now here's the blend of these two. And then now just bridge only. That sounds so good. Now here's a raging tone. Well, raging. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it does a lot of things, and like you said, those noiseless pickups really. There's no hum. No,
it's amazing. And yet it does all the stuff that a Strat does. So I'd be interested to know why they named what does all that stuff mean? It's got. I'm sure there's cobalt. Whatever. Yeah, it'd be interesting to meet with their marketing guy and say, well, hey, why did you name them that? And they're probably just like, because it sounded intriguing.
Yeah, I would, because I had a Strat with noiseless pickups, and I wish I still had it because I'd be so curious to listen to it today and see what I thought of it and even compare it to those.
I have a noiseless pickup in my Telly that I got, I think probably directly from Fender.
Okay.
Not these. Uh-huh. And first of all, it's not. They say it's noiseless. It's like, right. Yeah, not as advertised, and definitely not as hot.
Yeah. Yeah, great. So, what other things do you notice about it when you're holding it, like as far as the feel goes?
Well, I mean, the cutaway thing, it's deeper on both sides. And I'm not up there a lot, but when you get up there, you want to be comfortable. That's kind of cool. And then this trem system, it's not a dive bomber trem, but it's a really great.
And when you bought this Strat, did you say that you already had a Strat before, or was that this is your first and only Strat?
First and only Strat.
And what are some Strat players that come to mind for you that when you think of a Strat, who are you picturing?
Well, modern guys would be John Mayer, but David Gilmour is like my quintessential. That guy makes that Strat sound amazing.
How would you describe David Gilmour's unique Strat sound? Like, what makes his sound unique?
I think the thing that his is because a Strat can have a tendency to be a little on the thinner side, which in a mix is perfect because you're going to carve all that stuff out anyway. But his just has this like cool low end, real cool beef to it. Yeah, really good. I mean, of course, all of the guys that played with the Steely Dan guys that played Strats, those all sounded good. But Gilmour would probably be, as a young man, as a young player, that was that is a great Strat sound.
Well, let's talk about the tuners. Why don't you tell me about what they put on this guitar for tuners?
Well, I think you said that they're Shaler's.
Yeah.
So, but they're locking. It's Fender's version of the locking system, or it's what Shaler provided for them. But the cool idea behind these pickups. So if you were to zoom in on them, you can see that there's no wind on the string at all. So when you're stringing the guitar, you get the string out about this far, actually barely over it, and then you have to pull it super tight, and you have to start for each particular string. You have to start at a particular, like if you think of a clock. So this one would start at 6, and then 5, 4. Then this is, or I think it's actually 5, 4, 3, 2, 2, 1.
Wow.
And the whole idea behind it is that's as much wind as you're going to need. So, it's pretty cool, and it's very reliable. I mean, once you get the strings stretched out, it stays in tune remarkably. And then it's got the roller bridge, which is kind of trippy. I mean, it's like, wow, what is that? So the whole idea is that there's actually little ball bearings on the underside of the string. So it used to be if you had a tremolo system prior to like the Floyd Rose era, which is locking, that you have to be put in graphite or something in there. People use all sorts of different stuff, chapstick, whatever, so to keep those from sticking, because they would stick and then you'd dive bomb and your guitar would go completely out of tune. So this has a rolling thing, which is intended to keep that from happening, and I've never had my guitar stick.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, thank you for bringing over this Strat. It sounds like it's a great workhorse, and it's your go-to between this and the Duesenberg. They're kind of tied right now.
Yeah, I think that, it's like, I mean, I have a lot of great guitars. I'm thankful for that. But in regards to reliability and when I'm playing on a consistent basis, I know that I can pick either one of those guitars up and they're going to perform perfectly well. This is a really, really great guitar. I mean, yeah, it's a custom shop, so it should be good. But yeah, I'm very thankful to have this.
Sweet. Well, thank you guys.
Yeah. One last thing. There's a little tie on there from my daughter when she was little.
No way.
Yeah. So there you go.
That's cute. We love it.
You can edit that out if you want.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching. And if you like this episode, we have other episodes together with Hans on the we have 2 Duesenbergs. We have a Les Paul.
2 Les Pauls.
2 Les Pauls. We have an SG now, and lots more to come. So Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like, and we'll see you guys later. Bye.